Hello, everyone. This is Lexicon Architect, and today we're returning to one of my old series, which is Budget Commander List in Deck Tech. And today we're going to be looking at Ragost, Deft, Gastronaut. So basically, it's a 2 CMC commander that says artifacts you control are foods in addition to their other types, and you can pay 2 mana to sacrifice it to gain 3 life. And then with this commander, you can pay 1 to tap it to sacrifice a food to deal 3 damage to each opponent. And at the beginning of each end step, if you gain life this turn, you untap it. So, like I said in my short, if you do have the mana available and you have 3 other opponents, you could potentially gain 12 life and deal 10 damage to each of your opponents. So at mana value 1, we have cards like Faithless Looting that allow us to draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards with the flashback ability. Then we have Soul Sisters. So we have the Attendant and the Soul Warden, which is going to gain us life whenever another creature enters the battlefield. Next, we have the Underworld Cookbook for 1 mana that you could discard a card to create a food token. And then if you want to, you can pay 4 to tap it to return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. At mana value 2, we have Ashric Peth. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you create a food token. And then whenever you sacrifice a clue or a food, you explore. So you reveal the top card of your library, put that card into your hand if it's a land. Otherwise, put a 1/1 counter on a target creature and then put the card back or put it into your graveyard. Next, we have cards like Collector's Vault for 2 mana to draw a card, then discard a card, and then create a treasure token. We have Demand Answers to allow us to draw cards by either sacrificing an artifact or discarding a card. We have Loyal Apprentice with haste that says at the beginning of your combat, if you control your commander, you create a 1/1 colorless stop their artifact creature token with flying, and it gains haste. Next, we have Reckless Fireweaver, which says whenever an artifact you control enters the battlefield, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. Next, we have Skrull's Hive, which is going to generate us a colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature token with Toxic 1. And as long as an opponent has 3 or more opposing counters, creatures control have lifelink. Next, we're going to look at weapons manufacturing. Whenever a non-token artifact you control enters, you create a colorless artifact token named Munitions with, when this leaves the battlefield, this token, it deals 2 damage to any target. And then lastly, we have White Sun's Twilight, which we can dump mana to gain life and create that many mites. And if X is 5 or more, you destroy all other creatures. At mana value 3, we have Academy Manufactor that says if you would create a clue, food, or treasure token, instead create 1 of each. We have a Nympha Call to generate tokens by attacking with her and putting a 1/1 counter. So basically, based on the number of counters on her, that's how many tokens you're going to generate that are attacking. Caretaker's Talent is in here to draw us card. Crime Novelist allows us to sacrifice an artifact to put a counter on it and add a red mana to our mana pool. Then we have Girapur Aether Grid that says you could tap 2 untapped artifacts to deal 1 damage to any target. Next, we have Halaya that says whenever it or another creature artifact you control enters, you gain a life. And then at the beginning of your end step, you draw a card if you gain 3 or more life. Next, we have Ingenious Artillerist. Whenever 1 or more artifact enters the battlefield under your control, it deals that much damage to each opponent. Monologue Tax is in here to help you create tokens whenever an opponent casts their second spell. Then we have of Herbs and Stewed Rabbit. It's a saga. On the first chapter, you put a 1/1 counter on a target creature, create a food. Level 2, draw a card, create a food. And then level 3, create a 1/1 white halfling creature token for each food you control. Next, we have Old Tech Matter Weaver. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you create a token, or you can create a token that's a copy of target artifact token you control. Professional Facebreaker allows us to create treasures whenever we deal combat damage, and it also allows us to sacrifice a treasure to exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Next, we have Side Quest Cast with Fish. At the beginning of your upkeep, you look at the top card of your library. If it's an artifact or creature card, you may reveal it, put it into your hand. If you put the card into your hand this way, you create a food token and then you transform it. Then it becomes this. It has a white mana, or you can tap 3 to tap it to sacrifice an artifact and put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control and only activate as a sorcery. Next, we have Stride Hanger Automaton. Thopters you control get +1/+1, and if one or more artifact tokens will be created under your control, those tokens plus an additional Thopter are created instead. We have the Gaffer to help us draw cards whenever we gain 3 or more life each turn. We have Thopter's Shop. Whenever one or more artifact creature you control dies, draw a card. This ability only triggers once per turn. And for 3 mana, we can create a Thopter. And then lastly, we're going to talk about Wealthstalker Ardent. Whenever another creature or artifact you control enters, it deals 1 damage to each opponent, and it does have the Warp ability. At main value 4, we have Apothecary White. Whenever you attack, create a food token for each player that's being attacked. And for 1 white, we can tap this and tap X untap food tokens to create that many 1/1 white human creature tokens. Then we have Big Score, an Unexpected Windfall to draw us cards and create treasures. Mana value 5, we have Battlecap Blast, which has Improvise, so your artifacts can help you cast a spell. And then it deals 5 damage to any target, and if any excess damage was dealt to a permanent this way, create that many tap treasure tokens. Mana value 6, we have Sami, Wildcat Captain, Double Strike and Vigilance, and spells you control have affinity for artifacts, so they cost 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. And then lastly, as another board wipe, we have Blasphemous Act, which costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield, and then it deals 13 damage to each creature. Land base is pretty simple, 33 lands, and this deck is going to run you about $155. So this is just a shell of a deck. You can take this list, modify it, add better lands, maybe add token doublers or double damage doublers to make it a little bit more potent. But I hope you enjoyed this deck tech and have a good day.